We know there are many choices in internet radio, and the staff and host of LA Talk Live would like to thank you for choosing the internet's hottest destination for the most eclectic sound and invigorating talk. This is LA Talk Live. We are more than just talk.
Back of a postcard, no song that I could sing, but I can try for your heart and our dreams, and they are made out of real things, like a shoebox of photographs with sepia tone loving.
Welcome, everyone, to Pathways to Love. I am your host, Julie Orlov, and I am delighted to be with you another beautiful Sunday afternoon. I am here every week, and we are dedicated to helping you create very strong and intimate relationships in every area of your life. And I have been doing this work for over 25 years now as a psychotherapist and executive coach, speaker, and the author of the Pathway to Love books and programs. And I keep saying this every week, and I'll say it again this week, that your relationships, our relationships, are the most precious things that we have in our lives. And honestly, it just doesn't matter if this has to do with your romantic life. It doesn't matter if it has to do with your work life or your family life or being out in the community. The quality of your relationships absolutely 100% determines the quality of your life. So when your relationships at work are working well, guess what? Work is going well, and your performance and what you're producing and the success that you have is also going equally well. So, and relationships are hard. They're just hard work, and it's hard to know how to navigate through them. And that is why I've dedicated my work to really helping you understand the true nature of relationships and how they develop over time, what's natural and normal to occur, so that you don't panic that you're in the wrong relationship. It just simply may be that you're in that stage of development where things are tough and it requires some effort, and to know that that's perfectly normal. And then what I like to do in my program is then I teach you and show you the skills and the process on how to move through those issues with the ultimate goal, if you so choose, because it is always a choice, to create an even deeper and more intimate relationship with that particular person. So I am delighted to be here again. I love the topic for today. You know, we haven't talked about these kinds of things in a while, and I received just a wonderful email from this very interesting person, which I'll introduce you in just a moment, telling me a little bit about herself and her work and what I'd be interested in having her on. So I checked her out a little bit on the web, and I thought, she's going to be fabulous. So the topic today is actually soulmates. Do soulmates exist? And if they exist, how do we recognize them? And does a soulmate mean that that's really is just that one love of your life that everybody so desperately wants to find and is heartbroken even when they think they found their soulmate, but their soulmate isn't available to them for the relationship that they want for whatever reason, and then people move on heartbroken. So there's a lot of interest in the concept of soulmates, and it ties into so many things. It ties into, are people familiar to us? Is there life after death? Do our souls continue on? Are we able to continue our relationships with the people that we love even after we lose them through death? So I think it's a fascinating topic. I'm really open. I can kind of be on both sides of the fence, just to let you all know where I stand on the issue. So I'm really excited to dive into this and see if my guests can push me over on one side or the other. So, God, it's getting a little uncomfortable out there sometimes. All right. So without further ado, I want to introduce to you Amira Ceylon. Did I get that right? Oh, thank you. So welcome. Amira is a native Australian.
Yes, that's right.
That everybody will get once they hear that beautiful accent of yours. And you are a world-renowned psychic medium.
That's correct.
And lots of other things that you do.
Yes.
You do like astrology and numerology and intuitive guidance and all,
Yes, feng shui, past lives, healing, Arabic coffee cups, palmistry.
Wow.
Yeah.
You do it all. Okay, so we have the expert. And I'm really interested in this whole issue of life after death. I mean, isn't that the number one question everybody wants to know? What happens after you die? I mean, we kind of know what happens while we live.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, the circumstances may change, but we kind of know what the game's all about.
Yeah.
And we're gonna do just to let the audience know, we're gonna do a reading on the air. To kind of, so I can give you my take of it. If does this feel real to me? You know, what do I feel that Amir is picking up? What do I think that, either I'm not understanding or maybe off, and if it feels off, what is that all about? So I'm really interested to do that. So we're going to get into that, and at some point, probably after that, we'll also open up the phone lines. And if you would like to call in with your own questions and comment and chime in on this topic, we would love to hear from you. I'll give you the number now, but I'll give it to you again when the lines open up, and that's 323-473-3100. That's 323-473-3100. Hold off for a little bit so we can get things going, and then we'll let you chime in. Yeah. Okay, so before we get to my reading, which by the way, I'm so interested in hearing what you have to say.
I'm excited, Julie.
Yeah. So just answer the question.
Yeah.
Is there life after death? And if so, what gives you the confidence and the know-how to say that is and what it is? I mean, it's the number one human question we have.
Okay, well, the thing is, it's a very personal sort of question, and I think people will tend to believe there is life after death if they've experienced something that relates to that themselves, like a past life flashback, a past life experience where they've gone into a regression or hypnotherapy and experienced a past life. Also, if they've had a near-death experience and they've actually seen something and then come back to talk about it, that sort of thing. And also if they see a medium and they get proof of survival. And proof of survival is when you don't tell the medium anything and they actually have to nail at least three pieces of valid information that will confirm somebody around you that you've loved or who's been around you in your family or a friend has passed over, and they can give you a very detailed description or three definite descriptions or pieces of information about that person
that they would not have known otherwise.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, can you also do that in your readings? Like, will you, like with me, will you be able to give me some piece of information that I'll say, there's no way that you could have guessed that?
Well, we'll see how we go.
No pressure.
Yeah. Because there's two types of readings. There's a psychic reading, which is about your life today, and that's what we're going to focus on today. It's about your life and what you're doing and where you're going today. So it kind of ties in with your psychotherapy as well.
Right.
And then there's a mediumship reading, which is really going into connecting with people who have passed over. And there's two different ways of working with that. The psychic reading is when the psychic pushes their energy out onto their client and picks up the aura or the energy and information around the client that they're actually working with. With mediumship reading, basically it's the medium doesn't necessarily connect with you or pushes their energy out onto you. They actually link directly with spirit. They get messages directly with spirit for you.
Okay.
So it's kind of two different ways of working. So when I'm working with my clients, I do either a mediumship reading or a psychic reading.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, I just have one other question before we get into my reading. How would you define a soulmate?
Yeah, that's a great question. Well, I personally, and there's a lot of different theories about soulmates and also this other theory about twin flames, which I find very interesting. To me, a soulmate relationship is a lesson learning relationship. And that would also tie in with the psychotherapy and also meeting people to learn lessons to grow and evolve.
Right.
So I believe that we have more than one soulmate in each lifetime. I think you can meet and marry or meet and have relationships with more than one soulmate in your lifetime. And
so a soulmate is not, it doesn't have to be a sexual partner. I mean, anyone who, can it be a friend, a parent? Could that be someone that you have, there's lessons to learn? Or the way you're defining it, is it more related to a romantic partner?
More to a romantic partner, to a relationship.
Okay.
Love relationship type of experience. Yes.
Okay.
And I find that soulmates, you usually recognize them with the eye contact. So it's a feeling of deja vu, like you've known them before. Mm-hmm. There's an immediate feeling of recognizing that person, and it's usually through the eyes. It's just something about them that you know. And I've met a few soulmates in my lifetime. I don't know about you, Julie, but I have met quite a few.
Well, I can't decide if it's because they were a soulmate or I just knew, oh, they're just going to be trouble, so let's just go for it.
And get it out of the way.
Might as well. Why are we even wasting time? We know that I'm not going to be
Yeah.
able to stop myself. So I don't know. It's an interesting question because that is something that people look at. People ask me all the time, what is attraction? Like, what is it that pulls what's that magic ingredient or ingredients that pulls two people together?
Yeah.
Because we meet people all the time. Some people we can meet too and we can be attracted to them, but it's not a pull that it's like, oh yeah, he's a nice looking man or she's a nice looking woman, but there's not enough to pull you into making sure that you talk to them or even if you talk to someone who's interesting, there's not that pull to move it forward. So there's this fascinating thing called, we call it chemistry, but what really is that chemistry? Is it hormones? Is it pheromones? Is it something that has to do with the soul connection? Does it have to do with, what I call the psychological blueprint, something that's there that you recognize because it's just familiar because you've had those kind of relationships before? There's so many different aspects to it.
Yeah.
And I really think that's just the beauty of it. It isn't one thing. And we can't, my take on it.
Yeah.
I'm curious to hear your take, but my take is people want to control their lives so much. And I just keep saying, oh my God, just, let it go. Let it go. You're not going to control much of anything. But I don't know if there's this whole feeling of, is there a destiny? Like when you read someone, is there free will? Is there a destiny? Is it a combination? I don't know what your take on it since you've done this kind of work for a long time now.
Yeah, well, I agree with you on the points. There's so many factors that come into having that instant connection with somebody, whether it's, something to do with the pheromones, with just natural attraction and all sorts of things combined. So it's very difficult to completely understand it. And I think everything is very personal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Okay, so let's. Are you ready? I don't know if you
Yes.
need to do anything with me for me. I will say this because I want to give full disclosure. So, Amira does have my birth date, which we won't give out over the air. Okay?
Yes.
And she has my astrology sign, and she does know that I'm in a live-in relationship. That's
Yes.
about all that I've shared. But
Yeah.
those were the questions that were asked. So we're starting from that point.
Yes.
And also, as you're doing this, tell us about these beautiful cards too. And
Yes,
so tell me
certainly.
about, I don't know if you can multitask in that way or you just
Yeah.
need to focus on me, but you want to kind of, if you can explain the process as you do the process, that's great.
Okay.
Or we can
No, I
explain
can
it
do that.
afterwards too.
I can do that. That's not
Okay.
a problem. Well, I'm actually reading Amira's Love Oracle cards, which are my own Oracle card deck. And I channeled these from Spirit, and they are a very modern deck to be used for love and dating relationships or anything you'd like to ask about in your life. When I'm doing a personal reading, what we're going to do for Julie today, we're going to start off with a numerology of the year number that you're actually in. And when I'm shuffling the cards, I often get messages that come through for me naturally as I'm going along. So I just shuffle just to
Right.
get the energy flowing.
Right.
But looking at your birthday, the day, we're not going to read out your birth date, but the year number that you're in, which is for everybody to work out for themselves, is the day you're born, the month you're born, plus 2013 adds up to one number. So you bring it down to one number between 1 and 9, and you keep adding until you get a one-digit number. So that's your year number for 2013. And this starts from your birthday through to your next birthday. So it will be in next year.
Okay.
Okay, so it'll run through 12 months from your birthday. And Julie, you're in a number 5 year this year. So that's in between 1 and 9. So you're halfway through a nine-year cycle. A 5 number for me means it's a year of change. Lots of things going on, juggling lots of different things. And the year number I find is very significant because it just sets kind of the standard of what's happening for the year, the current theme. So 5 is fantastic for short trips, short journeys, juggling a lot of different projects, change. It can be change of business partners. It can be change of location, change of house. But usually it's about movement and meeting lots of different people. It's a great year for networking. It's a great year for sales. So sales will definitely be up this year for you. And it's a great year for travel too, and learning new hobbies and interests. You might want to pick up a language. It's a good year for languages, or studying something new or fun that you haven't done before.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So-
this runs through my birthday, 2014.
Yes.
So it started in 2013. It
Yes.
runs through. Okay, got
Yeah,
it.
so it's a year of change and versatility and fun. So if anybody is in a number 5 year, it's one of the most fun years to be in, because there's a lot going on. There's a lot of
Right.
fun things happening.
Right. And fun is my middle name.
Yeah.
So, so my feeling is if I'm not having fun, something's got to change.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're going to have more fun than usual this year.
Okay, good.
And can we just touch a little bit on next year, just to give you a heads up on next year?
Yes, absolutely.
So I like to sort of like give you a little heads up on next year. Next year's a number 6, which is a beautiful year. It's a year of harmony, love, redecorating the home, and marriage. So if you are in a live-in relationship, it's quite possible that you'll get married next year. Okay, or have some sort of ceremony, have some sort of celebration, have something going on with that. Like hearts and flowers, roses and candy. That's a number 6 here.
Okay.
Okay, so it's all about Venus.
Okay.
Jewelry, beauty, the arts.
Good. I love that.
Yeah, redecorating,
Right.
anything like that.
Okay.
I'm also seeing more water around you. I'm seeing like a water feature, a waterfall you might be putting into your home. So it's very good for feng shui and that sort of thing, and to create the energy flow.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm getting pastels around you as well, being good for you. Silvery, shimmery sort of colours, like pastel blues.
Yeah,
greens.
I typically wear a lot of blues and greens and a
Okay.
little bit of the coral. This is a little bit more rusty today.
Yeah,
It just felt
it's
like
more
I needed.
earthy.
Yeah, I felt like I just need, it's just kind of that kind of a day. It was an earthy day for me.
Exactly.
I dress according to my mood.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
So what we're
Okay.
going to do, Julie, we're going to just shuffle my cards as we've done here. So they're all fresh and shuffled.
Okay.
I'm going to lay them out in a fan shape. And what I'm going to ask you to do with your left hand, which is the subconscious mind, is to choose randomly, just run your hand over the deck,
Okay.
choose randomly 7 cards.
7
And
cards.
we'll see if you'd like to focus on an area of your life. If there's
with my left hand.
there's one area you'd like to focus on that needs looking at, because we can interpret the cards in any way for any reason. Okay, we've got 4, and we keep them in order from 1 to 7. So the 7 card story will tell us a story as we turn the cards over.
How many do
Okay,
I
so
have?
we're up to 6.
Give me one more. I'm gonna take. All right, you seem to
Yeah.
want to come out. We'll use you.
Excellent. Okay, so let's have a look, Julie, and see what
Okay.
you've got on the cards. So will I turn them up this way so the camera can see them as well?
Okay.
Okay, so
Oh,
we've
nice.
got beautiful, we've got friendship, we've got soulmate, talking about
Tiger's
soulmates
mate.
here.
That's right.
Yeah. It's interesting what the cards bring up, because sometimes when we ask one question, a different question will be answered in the cards. We've got dating, we've got wallflower, we've got karma, we've got passion. Fantastic. So this actually goes in with my little prediction I did before.
That's kind of interesting.
It is interesting, yeah. So what this is saying from card 1 to card 7 in our 7 card story is friendship. This is fantastic for support, people helping you, networking, people giving you a hand, being supported by the universe, and also friends being around you and really helping you and coming together, and meeting a soulmate through friends or links. Okay, so you're with a soulmate now anyway, we know that. So dating and enjoying yourself, going out, wining and dining, enjoying yourself, that's very important for you.
Right.
And you like all of that sort of thing. You like enjoying yourself and celebrating things. That can also be a business partnership and coming together for a business meeting. And the name I actually heard for you before was a G or a J sounding name, like a Jerry or a John or something like that. And I feel that possibly you might get a business partner, co-host even, who is male, who might have a J or a G sounding first name.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm just going to throw that one out there because it might
Okay.
come through later on for you in the next couple of weeks.
Okay. That's soon.
Somebody might come forward, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I find my readings are quite instant.
Wow. All right. Well, there's that Jerry or what was it?
Jerry, I heard Jerry first, Jerry or James or Jamie, something like that.
All right. If you're
Something
out there.
like that. It's a GJ
Right.
sounding name.
Okay.
And it's not a relationship, it's a
Right.
business thing. It's
Right, I
a
got
business
it.
name. Yeah.
Okay.
We've got the wallflower here, and what the wallflower signifies here, if anyone's familiar with what a wallflower is, it's somebody who used to sit down instead of get up and dance in like the early days.
Right.
Like she used to just sit on the side and not actually do anything.
Right.
So the wallflower is telling you to make the most of yourself, step up and take action, participate, and don't feel shy about anything. This is your year for not feeling shy. So it's stepping through, opening, because if you do that, if you're not shy and you step up and you move forward, karma, which is the doors opening, this beautiful card here, doors are opening for you. So you'll be stepping through those doors. Karma's being released. So any past karma that you've had to deal with is being released.
That is excellent.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a really strong card. So you'll be walking through those doors, and with that karma being released, doors are going to open for you in more ways than one. And I feel like there's a triple number around you, a number 3. And I feel that 3 different doors will open.
Okay.
Yes, 3 different opportunities.
Okay.
And I'm seeing you also doing some big conferences and workshops, and it feels like it's in Vegas or somewhere like that.
Okay.
Or Palm Springs.
Okay.
I'm getting big hotels.
I like Palm Springs better
Okay.
than Vegas if I had to
Palm
choose.
Springs.
But it's okay. I'll go to Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm seeing big hotels and resorts and things like that. Okay. You're very passionate about what's coming up. You're going to really enjoy yourself. And the passion will motor you through and drive you through to where you're meant to be. Now, the union card is beautiful. This is the marriage and partnership. This is a relationship, but it's also can be a business agreement and a legal contract. Okay. So it can be a double message here. It can be for personal and also for business reasons. So we have a beautiful contract coming up for you, and possibly also a legal marriage coming into your number 6 year next year. So there we go.
It all sounds good. I'm kind of excited.
Yeah.
So when you talk about the soulmate, so let's just look at the soulmate card.
Yes.
Okay, so let's just zero in, since we're the subject today is soulmate. We might as well at least start out using me and my guy. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you see about that? Like how again, going back to your definition of what a soulmate is, what does that mean for each of us, in this relationship?
Well, I think because you've got the dating around it, you've got the friendship, I think it's got a very strong link with enjoying yourself, helping each other, being of service, and also working through any karma you might have together. So I think it's a very workable relationship. I feel it's a relationship where you're both working on stuff together.
Okay. And for those, because I my relationship is strong and I feel confident in it for the most part. Not that I don't have my days, but we know what days those are, honey. Yes. Okay. But I guess the question for me, for people out there in the audience, is when they meet someone, because I've had these calls a lot, and I'm sure that you have a lot of them as well. You have people who call you, they say, I know he's my soulmate. I just feel a connection. And yet they're with someone who does not...
unavailable.
They aren't available. They don't reciprocate those same feelings. I remember I was dating a man, and he was, you're my soulmate, you're my soulmate. And I thought, well, I don't know what that means to you, but I'm not going to be in your life forever, and it wasn't reciprocated. And it's so hard for people to understand how they could feel this connection and yet not have it mean they get to be with this person.
Yes.
What's your take on that from a spiritual perspective?
Yeah. Well, through personal experience, I've delved into these sort of things, and the unavailable person, and I also hear a lot of clients tell me these things as well.
Right.
I really believe it's a past life thing. It's unresolved things from a past life. In that past life, just say the person wants to be with you, but you don't want to be with them. They might have pursued you in a past life or lost you in a past life, and the same karma's coming up again. And I feel it's something to be resolved in this life. And if you learn the lesson through that person, even if it's for 5 minutes of seeing them, or you might see them 1 or 2 days or something like that, just the meeting and the understanding who they are, why it's not going to work. And if you learn that lesson, you can move on. You can raise your awareness and heighten your awareness to move on to a better soulmate or a better partnership for you, or what I call a twin flame relationship as well.
And what is the twin flame relationship?
Well,
Let's say that slowly so I can
Yes.
say it correctly.
The twin flame, there's a few theories about the twin flame that's out there at the moment. I feel the twin flame it's meant to be your soul that was divided into two souls from the time of your evolution. And it's a very easy and effortless relationship. And wouldn't that be fantastic?
Right.
Without the challenges and the karma
Right.
and the work and all of that you might do with a soulmate relationship and the lessons you have to learn to grow and evolve. But if you've come to a level where you feel like you're really in a really great place, you've worked through all your stuff, it's quite possible that you'll meet a twin flame relationship if you're lucky, if they're alive at the same time that you're alive in this universe. And the twin flame is something that will just connect with you. It'll be very easy and effortless, and the person will just feel like they're one with you. It's a feeling like you're one.
So it's interesting. I'm going to translate that into my languages so that we can see those two things. So in that respect, that these are two souls that know each other well. They've done their work together, and now they just really get to enjoy. And it sounds like that's akin to what I call a transformational relationship, and that's my phase 4.
Yeah.
And so though my sense is that people can get there if they choose to get there. Other people may have to put a lot of work into it, but it is one of those relationships that become, in a sense, it feels effortless.
Yes.
And and there's such a high level of support for that relationship and one another, and I feel like it actually can transform the world around them, that they're that powerful, those relationships.
Exactly. Yes, it can.
Now, the thing I want to be, so here's where I think people can get into trouble. So people can get, and I want to hear your take on this, that people can get caught up with, like I can hear some people thinking, okay, if I'm in a relationship, I think it's my soulmate, it's difficult, or he's not available, then not only do they have to feel like there's something wrong with them now, I want to make sure people don't walk around the world feeling like, oh, I was really bad. I was such a jerk in a previous life with this person. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like people walk around with too much shame
Okay.
in their current life. How can this be understood in a way that actually I want this information to free people up.
Yes.
Not make them now feel like, oh my gosh,
Yes.
I don't want them to be more hopeless. I want it to somehow empower them.
Yeah.
So how could that information empower somebody in a way rather than disempowering them?
Well, I think it's about just stopping and looking at it from an outside perspective, detachment, and then learning the lesson.
Okay, so part of it is recognizing that there's something there for me to learn.
Yes.
Okay, and then not taking it so personally. Is that what you mean by the detachment?
Yeah.
Well, that's good advice, no matter what. I tell people, people the rejection is such an interesting. Okay, maybe,
and it's not about them
it
either.
Isn't.
It's never about them. Never
Right.
ever.
Right.
Is it about them?
Right.
It's about the dynamic. It's about the other person, where they're at, and timing.
Right. And if you're rejecting somebody else, let's say you're starting to date someone and you decide this person isn't for you, it actually isn't about the other person either. It's about whatever your needs are, or what works for you, or like you say, what is the timing right?
Exactly.
As well. Because I think people can really
beat themselves up
Yes.
and things like that. They shouldn't beat
Yes.
themselves up, and they shouldn't stay heartbroken and pining for somebody who's unavailable. I always encourage people to try to get that detachment so they can just go out and keep enjoying their life, because they really should be enjoying their lives, because they're here,
Right.
and every minute counts.
Right.
Yeah, and there's so many beautiful people out there, and there's millions of soulmates for you. So if it's not this one, and he's not the right one, or she's not the right one right now, then there's some other beautiful soulmate out there wanting you.
So I love that when you say there could be millions.
Yeah.
Like, people don't think of that. They think there's one, maybe two.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah. Well, millions might be
Millions.
exaggerating, but I mean, the more people you meet, and Julie and I, we meet a lot of people, the more opportunity you have is possibly meeting a new soulmate.
Oh,
Yeah.
So you can create a new one.
Yes, and
You don't have to rely on those old ones. You could have a new one.
Yeah,
I like
or
that.
you just gravitate towards somebody, and you know, they could be an amazing friend, they could be a possible relationship partner, and you just might be having a great time with them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's about tying up your time. Thinking about somebody who's unavailable is you know, it's wasting your pretty time.
Takes a lot of energy that can be
Yeah.
used to doing so many more things that you
Yeah.
enjoy. So, okay. So here's a lesson of what I'm hearing. If you meet someone and you feel there's some spark, there's something about them that draws you or pulls you, or you feel there's an instant familiarity, that's a nice thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean necessarily that this is a person you're meant to have this, fantastic love relationship with either.
Yes.
It just maybe means there's something there to notice, possibly,
Yes.
to
Yeah.
understand, to explore, to learn something about yourself.
Yeah. There's usually a gift in it somewhere.
Right.
If you can find the gift.
Well, it's very familiar with what I say in my programs. I mean, one of the things I say, one of the primary reasons why relationships are so important is that they serve as mirrors.
Yes.
So in
yeah.
some ways you're saying it serves as a mirror into the soul, and I may be saying it serves as a mirror into your heart, your mind, your psyche, and your soul.
Yeah.
That they definitely serve as mirrors. So there's always something to learn about yourself in that. And
Exactly.
yeah. Okay. See, did I just not tell you how quickly this time goes by? All right. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to, I think it's a good time to take a break. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to open the phones for your calls as well. So let me give you the number really quick. It is 323-473-3100. That's 323-473-3100. So hang on there. We're going to take a short break and we will be right back. You are watching Pathways to Love. I am Julie Orlov, and we will see you in just a couple minutes.
When I look into your eyes, it's like watching the night sky or a beautiful sunrise. Well, there's so much they hold, and just like them old stars, I see that you've come so far to be right where you are. How old is your soul? Well, I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I'm giving you all my love. I'm still looking up, and when you're needing your space to do some navigating, I'll be here patiently waiting to see what you find. Even the stars, they burn. Some even fall to the earth. We got a lot to learn. God knows we're worth it. No, I won't give up. I don't want to be someone who walks away so easily. I'm here to stay and make the difference that I can make. Our differences, they do a lot to teach us how to use the tools and gifts we got here. We got a lot at stake. And in the end, you're still my friend. At least we did intend for us to work. We didn't break, we didn't burn. We had to learn how to bend without the world caving in. I had to learn what I got and what I'm not, and who I am. I won't give up on us, even if the skies get rough. I'm giving you all my love. Still looking up, still looking up. Well, I won't give up. God knows I'm tough. He knows we got a lot to learn. God knows we're worth it.
Oh, welcome back to Pathways to Love. I am your host, Julie Orlov, and I'm here with Amira Ceylon, and I am delighted to have her with us today. We are talking about soulmates. And oh my gosh, I just love that Jason Mraz song. It just, that just touches my soul. I don't know why. It's a beautiful song. Also, we are opening the lines up for callers. Let me just remind people again, if they want to call in, please do so at 323-473-3100. And we are talking about, soulmates in this lifetime, maybe soulmates that we've had other lifetimes together. And I think that this is, again, moving back to that topic of what happens when we're gone and what happens to our relationships. Based on your experience, with the, I'm not too sure how you get your information or, where that comes from, but what can you tell everyone about, okay, there are these people, with these wonderful couples. Let's give an example. They've been married for 50 years. This happens all the time. One person dies, they pass away, and their partner usually, doesn't last more than a year. They follow.
Exactly.
And so in that sense, if I just play the scenario out, is that husband or wife greeted by their loved one or their spouse? And what happens to that relationship? And if this is a true soulmate relationship that's destined to continue, what is that process like? And what kind of lessons have you learned about that through all these kind of the medium readings that you do?
Okay. Well, I understand is, and I can't say I'm an expert because we need, proof from whatever source is going to give us the actual proof. But from what I understand is that when you do pass over, there's like a resting time, a healing time, and a recuperation time of reassessing where you want to go in the next lifetime to evolve. And a lot of people who have had lives, and they say that people like Jesus Christ and Prophet Muhammad, etc., who have had lives, who have evolved to a certain level, don't get reincarnated again because they've already lived their lessons and they've gone through everything, and they're kind of like masters on the other side. There's also people who might have passed over through illness, and they need time for healing. So they go through a healing hall, a healing time. And from what I understand also, the time on the other side in the spirit realm, there's no time and space. Everything, you could be there for hundreds of years or 1 year or 2 years or months or days. There's no time. So people just float. And apparently it's just an amazing place to be. Yeah, so you do get sort of reconnected with people who you've known before on the spirit, on the earth plane, and you do reconnect with them in the spirit plane. So these couples who have lost their spouses and they've been together for years and years, 50 years, etc., or whatever, they do reconnect with people who their loved ones on the other side and reassess where they're going to go from here. And often people are born into soul families or soul groups. So somebody might come back as your sister, your brother, your best friend, your father, your daughter, your son, your lover, your husband, your fiance, etc., your boyfriend. So people do get reincarnated back in similar soul groups or soul families.
Well, I will tell you this. I have two daughters. My oldest daughter, we decided many years ago that she definitely was my mother.
Oh, wow.
In another lifetime.
Okay.
Yeah, and yes, this is our karma. So
yes.
It's very interesting with that. So
yes.
That's our feeling, though who knows, but yeah.
Yeah.
So when you do the medium readings, I know that you explained that you get your information in two different ways. Um, kind of, what is your sense about that? I mean, are you seeing images? Is it a feeling? Do you hear a voice? Does it feel like this is information that this person needs to hear in order to just grieve and let go or be reassured? You know, what do you think that in a way what your mission is with that work? Because
Okay. Yeah, with the mediumship readings, it's more like direct messages, or I hear things from spirit. Spirit show me things, so it's visual, or I hear things or feel things. So they'll give me messages, and they usually speak very quickly. And this is why some mediums, it's very difficult. You have to be very highly trained in mediumship to get a really clear message, because the way they communicate from the other side is very fast. So you often have to learn to communicate with them, to go back and confirm the messages, what they said, or to slow it down, or to get the link up again and to bring it back through, or to get a stronger link, or to ask them to come forward. So it's a lot of mental work that goes backwards and forwards with connecting with spirit. The objective of it is to provide some relief for people who have lost somebody they've really loved, to create some healing for them on this earth plane, and to help them move forward in their lives, maybe to give them a message of encouragement from the person who's passed over that it's okay.
yeah, I could imagine that would be very helpful
Yeah.
in the grieving and healing process. Amir, how did you know that you had this gift? Like, how did this start? When did you know this was your calling? Did it scare you when you started to, feel like you were having messages that other people may not be getting? What was your journey like with all this?
Well, I believe that everybody's psychic as a child. A lot of children, as you know, are very psychic and very intuitive, and often it's the conditioning that makes them lose that psychic ability or block it out of their consciousness or subconsciousness. Often children are very perceptive with dreams, and I've always been, from a child, I was very intuitive, and I had spirit friends with me as a child, and then as I grew through my teens, I became interested in astrology and things like that, and I started to do meditation as a teenager, and then just develop things through there. So I was lucky to be in a family that encouraged that and supported meditation and astrology and studies of that nature, and then I just developed from there. The mediumship came in later on when I felt most people are psychic and they can develop their psychic ability, but mediums, you're either medium or you're not. Mediums have a certain gift, whether they can connect with spirit or they can't. So to do the mediumship, I went to the Arthur Finlay College in the UK in Stansted, which is one of the best or the only colleges in the world to learn mediumship. And I was tested there, and I came out, like I just went in there blindly. I threw myself into it.
Wow.
With courage. And I just thought, well, if I'm not mediumship, and if I'm not a medium, I'm not, and if I don't have it, I don't have it. So I just put myself through the course and came out with, the confirmation that I was a medium. And they teach you how to really develop your mediumship.
Wow. I
Yeah.
didn't know there was
Yeah.
an institution that kind of can put you through, I guess, some tests or something. So, something.
It's practice, like they help you develop it through practical things and through groups, doing group work
Wow.
and things like that. Yes.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So what has that been like for you to have this? I mean, it's an interesting career. I mean,
Yeah, I know. It's an interesting career.
What is that? I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like, honestly, you're part of what I call the family that I'm in of helping professionals.
Yes. Yeah.
But it's a unique and very specific way to help people. It's also a very controversial way to help people
Yes.
because you have a lot of people who embrace this and believe in it. And we talked a little bit before, you also have
Yeah.
a lot of people who feels it's just nonsense.
Yes.
And I don't know how you deal with that, with both those parts of the equation.
Yes, well, I feel that you attract your own clients, and everybody has a clientele. There's no competition spirit or with clientele. And I always tell people, you'll attract your own clients. They'll be attracted to you. So I usually just attract people who want to work with me. So, and you would as well.
Right.
And I have a big support. I have a big kind of support for psychotherapy. I was actually going to be a psychotherapist at one point, and then spirit kind of pulled me back into the mediumship. So I was considering to be a psychotherapist. So I love psychotherapy too. So I kind of consider myself a no-nonsense sort of psychic. I don't go on and waffle on about, fluffy stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Yeah. But it was an involvement. So I was just led into the field after studying languages and working in TV and doing some other things. I kind of went into, it was natural.
Is it exhausting? Like if you did a lot of medium readings, does that give you energy? Does it drain you energy, or is it kind of a neutral?
That's a really good question. I find personally mediumship readings, getting messages directly from spirit, gives me energy, whereas psychic readings can actually use your energy because you're pushing your own energy out towards your person that you're reading for.
Right.
Whereas the mediumship, spirit is giving you the information. Some mediums have told me if they've done a lot of mediumship readings, they do get quite exhausted. So it's just a very personal thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think unless you're there, unless you've had that kind of experience, I think it's probably hard for people to understand. But it sounds like through your experience, you feel very strongly that soulmates do exist, and it just may not exist in the way people want them to. In other words, you don't know what there needs to be worked out between the two of you. And I think that one of the things that's really important for people to get and to understand and maybe to develop some kind of grace over is that, I say to people, every relationship has a life cycle, just like every living thing on the planet has a life cycle.
Yeah.
And it's like saying for the dog, I'll use a dog. I don't want to use people. I mean, I love my dog too. That may not be the best.
Oh, no.
But now I don't know what to use. I don't know. Your goldfish. I don't know. It's gonna be something. I'm gonna get someone upset. But anyways, I do have a dog. See, I got so upset I'm spitting over myself. Like some dogs have a life cycle. Their dog could live 5 years, and another dog could live 14 years. And it's like saying the dog that lived 5 years, was that dog any less valuable because it only lived 5 years? Do you know what I mean? It's like a life is valuable no matter how long that life has existed. I mean, that's my point.
Exactly.
And I think if people can relate that to relationships as well, all relationships are valuable. They're precious no matter how long they've lasted. If they've lasted through one and that may not be a relationship, but we'll put it in this broad category just to make my point. So I tend to exaggerate sometimes to make my point. So if you even had that date that was not such a great blind date that lasted 2 hours, question is was that 2 hours, that meeting, that coming together with another human being for 2 hours, was that valuable? And I would like to hope that it was in some respect, even if that time was to validate that these are qualities that you're not interested in. It's valuable in one way or another. The relationship that lasts a year is valuable. It's not any less valuable than the one that lasts 30 years. So, and anything in between. I just think if people can appreciate that, it doesn't mean that you still don't mourn and there isn't a loss when anything leaves your life that you cared about.
Exactly.
But that it doesn't take away from the fact that it's just like the same thing. I mean, there's so many things in life we just don't have answers for. Why does this one dog live 5 years and the other dog live 14 years and they're the same breed? They're the same good care. We don't know. We don't know why some people get sick and they have to move on sooner than other people. And to try and make sense of it all, I don't know. That's maybe your area. To me, from speaking from just the very human 2 feet planet on this earth, there's so many things that just don't make sense.
Exactly. Yeah. There's something that I always like to remind people is that we have about 20% destiny and 80% free will. So we do have the free will of the choices we make and the decisions we make to change our own destiny. And our destiny will just go off into a little different angle. And then you'll have another destined thing that'll happen to you. And then you'll have the choice to decide, will I take that route or not? Right. So it is, we are in some way, in charge of some sort of destiny of our choices.
We definitely, we I am total agreement that. I mean, life. I was working with a client the other day who was struggling with making choices. This was a young woman, and trying to make career choices and just life choices and all this stuff. And I said to her, I said, it's all you're doing is you're just making one choice, but we make choices constantly. We're constantly shifting what's going to happen next by our choices.
Yeah.
And then, of course, my take is that, and then there's all this other stuff that goes on that we don't have control over. Like, we can choose to go here, but if this person didn't choose to go to the same place, we're never going to meet them. Did we have control over that? No. Is there anything wrong with having made that choice? Absolutely not. It's all we keep doing is making choices as we move through this interesting experience called life.
Exactly.
Yeah. and it's an interesting experience because I find that what people feel is very reassuring. I think this is a huge role. I mean, I think therapists play this role to a certain extent, but I think people like yourself or spiritual leaders, whether it's your rabbi, your minister, I think one of the many gifts and ways that you help people is just to reassure people. I think people, it's hard to live life with feeling like things are unknown
or with fears.
And there's something very nice about someone saying, you're on the right path.
Track. Yeah.
This is what's supposed to be. It's going to be okay. There may be some good things coming up. You may have to go through some difficult things. And which is it something that you find as well with the work that you do?
I think so. I mean, life is a journey, as you know, and it's just like, I think everybody's where they're meant to be right now, and they have the choice to change that as well.
Right.
If they want to, if they're not happy with it. Yeah.
Right. You make another decision.
Yeah, exactly. And if you make the wrong decision and it ends up to be crap, you can just make another decision.
Exactly. Exactly.
I've often thought that it doesn't have to be perfect. If I choose to go to A and then it doesn't work out, then I can go to B or C.
Right. And then it's the whole thing. I was just, I can't remember where I was. I was somewhere. I was telling someone, I don't tell the fable exactly the way it is, but there's the story of that. So I'm going to say it wrong. So if you've got the right one, please email me because I know I'll say it wrong. But there's that story of a man, many centuries ago, that working the land on his farm, and his horse dies. He needs it to plow the land, and he says, "Oh my God, this was a horrible thing. This is tragic." Turns out that, and then someone says, "Well, maybe yes, maybe no." And then his neighbor gives him a stronger, younger horse who can actually plow more because it's a younger, stronger horse. And now he's thinking, wow, that was a really good thing that happened because now I have this new horse. And then someone says, well, maybe yes, maybe no. And then, his son gets on the horse and falls off and breaks his leg, and he can't help with and then, so, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like there's nothing that is such a blessing or such a curse.
Yes.
Because it's in constant motion.
Yeah.
So I think that's my amateur take on that beautiful story, which I did not get completely right, but everybody, y'all get the drift. Okay. So, okay. So how do people find you? So what do you have coming up?
Yeah.
How can they find these beautiful cards of yours?
Sure.
So fill them in on all this information.
Thank you. Well, the cards are called Amira's Love Oracle cards. They're very easy to read, as we demonstrated. And they've got a little guidebook inside the box. They're available on Amazon, eBay, and on my personal website, which is amiracelon.com. So that's AMIRACELON.com. And I've got some events coming up as well. On the 3rd of September, I'm doing a workshop at the Mystic Journey bookstore in Venice, in LA. And that's in the evening from 6:30 to 8:30 on how to read Amira's Love Oracle cards.
That's good.
I'm also doing another workshop in Seattle at the East West bookstore on September the 13th. which is also a card reading workshop, Amira's Love Oracle cards as well. You can also go onto my website and click a daily card. It's a free reading, and then you'll get used to using the cards and clicking a card and see what comes up for you. That's a little fun thing to do. So you can always do that as well.
And you do readings by Skype, so you can be anywhere in the world and reach
Yeah.
you and have a personal reading with
Exactly, yes. I do Skype voice chat or the phone if people don't use Skype, or email readings as well.
you. Wow.
Yeah.
And if people get the cards and they can't make your workshop, can they? I mean, you don't have to be a psychic. Can you go through this process yourself? Can you read your own cards and have them give you information?
Yes,
Does it
exactly.
work like that?
You can, because they're oracle cards. Tarot cards are a little bit more subjective, and they're more difficult to read for yourself, whereas oracle cards or angel cards are easier to read for yourself. So you can just shuffle the cards, do a fan, or mix the cards on a table, do a fan and pick 3 cards for today, or it can be 3 cards spread past, present, future. You can cut the cards in 3 piles and then turn over past, present, future, or you can just pick 1 card for the day, or you can do what we did, which was the 7 card story, and lay them out in 7 cards, and the guidebook will show you how to interpret the cards, and they're very easy to read.
And then I'd like to leave our audience, if you could give one piece of advice on how to recognize a soulmate, and what do you do when you recognize your soulmate, or one of your millions of soulmates apparently?
Yes.
What would that be?
Okay, to recognize a soulmate, I feel it's through the eyes. It's an eye contact. You recognize their eyes. There's a connection through the eyes. You feel like you've known them before, and just see where it goes. See where the journey takes you with your soulmate. What are you meant to learn from them? What's your path together? It will be revealed in a very short time frame, usually through meeting somebody who is a soulmate, what your destiny is with that person. And you'll just have a natural instinct, a natural feel of where you're meant to be going with that person and how they're meant to be playing out in your life.
And don't hesitate finding a new soulmate.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
You can create a wonderful partnership with someone and not worry about any of that. So, and start a new journey.
Exactly. So if they feel like it's not working with that soulmate you've just met, then maybe you can just say, okay, thank you, thank you for showing me that there is a beautiful connection, but it's not really meant to be right now in this lifetime or in this life right now. And I'll be open to meeting a new one.
Right. So I would say contact Amira if you're questioning this from a spiritual perspective. Is this someone I'm meant to be with? Am I not meant to be with? What is going on with all this?
Yeah.
If you're in that relationship and you want to make that relationship work, then please reach out to me. I will see what we can do. I don't know if I've got powers beyond what's in the ethers out there, but we can certainly work
all
on.
Good. It's all good,
we
Julie.
can certainly work on what lessons there are for you to learn within that relationship. And you could always reach me at julieorlov.com or thepathwaytolove.com. And if you go on the website, if you click on the radio show icon, all the information about Amira is there, and a link to your website, so you can get everything that you need as well if you need to do that from my website. And
Okay.
I can't tell you, I have enjoyed you being here so
Thank you,
much.
Julie. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for
Yes.
having me.
Yes, and thank you for the reading. I'm excited,
Yes.
and I'll make sure a year from now I'll let you know
Yeah.
what happened.
And I'll give you some cards to play with as well.
Oh, that would be lovely. And I have a copy of the Pathway to Love for you as well.
Thank
So
you.
that would be great. Yeah, I'll play with that, and that's always fun.
Yeah.
My theory is if you don't like the first 3 cards you pull, you just pull 3 more.
Exactly.
That's my theory.
You can
but,
do that.
Yeah. I don't know if that works, if the spirit's above like that. But I said, no, I don't want those. I think I'll pull 3 more. All right.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I want to thank everybody for spending this lovely afternoon with us. Again, we are here to support you in creating powerful and transformational relationships. Don't hesitate to reach out if you need me. And I will look forward to seeing each and every one of you next Sunday. I want you all to have a great week. You've been watching Pathways to Love. I am Julie Orlov. And until next week, have a great one, everyone.
If you were falling, then I would catch